guys. Blind pick, KOO Tigers versus KT Rolster. KOO looking to go to the finals, looking to go to Worlds, and KT with similar ambitions. Let's see what they pick out.
Well, the Yasuo mirrors certainly would be entertaining, of course.
Kalista mirror possibility?
Yeah, that is definitely up there. I don't think we're going to see the Echo after the nerfs to the jungle Echo on 5.15, even though its score has been one of the best, if not the very best jungle Echo here in Korea. Now,
KOO always waits till the last moment to lock in their champs, too. They never like to tease the fans.
I think you go for Kalista here. Why not?
Yeah.
If you're Arrow, they're going to want some protection. I think that if you even remotely consider the possibility of Ashe coming in, it's going to necessitate a Braum pick from KT. Otherwise, I say for KT, go for the Azir. Go for just the solid team composition that you know can win you games. Nagne is 8-2 all-time on Azir.
It's looking like it's going to be the kiting back comp coming through from KT. They don't have any initiate as Kuro. It wouldn't be surprised to see him go Yasuo, but what they pair with this could be legendary.
Gangplank would be amazing, but
Riven.
This looks more like it. Or is it? Oh, here we go.
Wow.
It's the Juggermaw. So after all this, KT, or KOO rather, going with a modified Juggermaw to try to punch their ticket to the World Championships. And something relatively similar on the other side. WTF, two top Lulus? That's genuinely WTF there.
Quite surprising. And the Leona Ashe lane coming through again. We saw this earlier. It wasn't very effective. Wow.
Okay.
So, surprisingly, Arrow will be the one ashing, and there isn't a Yasuo, there isn't a Braum.
There isn't a Kalista.
There isn't Engage from the KOO Tigers.
Yeah.
The two games they lost this series were no Engage comps. The last time they tried Juggernaut, it was found wanting, so KOO Tigers, interesting.
It's time for the game, guys. Who takes it? KOO or KT? Let's get in the game and find out. And here we are, back on Summoner's Rift for the 5th time tonight. KT Rolster versus the KOO Tigers. Man, I know this game is for a spot in the Grand Finals, but it already feels like the Grand Finals to me. This has been a fantastic best of 5.
Feels like KT have a lot more flexible options as this game goes forward. They have great engage from the likes of Ashe. Okay, the Ashe, Leona lane themselves, bit of a questionable pairing, but they have engaged. They have pick potential from the jungle, and they can kite back and protect for their hyper carry. Whereas KOO, you get that dragon advantage, you kite back, you look great, but otherwise, only really one mode of win here for KOO Tigers, and that's play around these objectives.
I think the Lulu is a bit interesting from KOO because there's not a really obvious target for the wild growth. Of course,
I guess.
If you want to engage, of course, the Kog'Maw, if you want to play more aggressively in that Juggernaut style, is an option, and they certainly have no shortage of late-game damage compared to KOO. But just a lot more choices. You have the Elise maybe coming in on a Repel. If you're KT, you have the Leona on the Zenith Blade. And that is not going to be a lane swap from KT. And they're going to see it coming in. Now, KOO is going to opt into the 2v2 after they see the Ashe.
They want 2v2 Monte Cristo. You cannot unlock the roaming Leona with the Elise, the gank pressure onto anyone. Remember, Kuro, he didn't know whether he needed to get into a cleanse, so he's gone for the barrier. He will die during the stun lock, so didn't want to blind pick a summoner spell as defensive as cleanse. He's gone for the barrier, which can be used a bit more offensively, but it's very important that they keep track of Peekaboo this game if you're KOO Tigers.
And I think that Nagne was expecting a Yasuo because he actually went exhaust here, which is really unusual.
Oh no, and the blue buff releash. They were going to give it to Someday, which is a great idea, but now it's going to be so slowed down. He's going to take too much damage. He's going to have to recall. He might not actually be able to do this.
He'll get it.
He'll get it. He just has to blow an extra pod.
It is really tight. Wow, that is a not good start for the KT Lulu in this Lulu versus Lulu battle. I mean, he does have the blue buff. He does have the shield pretty soon.
He does also have no potions, though, because he's going to walk straight into lane.
I guess you have to. You can't lose that much CS and experience.
He already had the lane bounced once. He just couldn't opt into the experience loss if it happened again.
Yeah, for sure. Could be worse. I've never seen a Lulu versus a Lulu lane before.
It's amazing that they actually picked different skins but still look really damn similar.
That's also true.
Pool Party Lulu versus Winter Wonderland Lulu.
Yeah, I like Pool Party. Bit better.
I don't like Lulu.
Well, you are insane because she's awesome. I don't know what's wrong with you.
I really don't like Lulu mirror lanes either.
Well, it may
There's
not be the most
basically
aggressive lane.
0 kill pressure in that
Yeah.
lane.
But man, you can make such big statements if there is ever a solo kill.
That's what I do, man. I'll get the solo kills. Oh, KOO getting a lot of damage early on from that Sand Soldier, but what do you expect? I mean, that's pretty par for the course in the early Victor Azir matchup.
Yeah, you do expect to lose this, and there's that possibility that Azir does get the fast turret against the Victor. You can push forward and deal enough damage. Now, there is the kill pressure on the top side. Should Score try and go gank, basically, Prey is dead. The arrow into the Leona lockdown with Cocoon. It is a very dangerous time to be a Kog'Maw.
It's the debut of the Ashe from Arrow as well, so he's the one that surprisingly opted into that. The Arrow is real.
Finally get to talk about the arrows.
I've been waiting years for this.
It's happening. All right, but you wonder too, in the typical Juggermaw positioning from KOO Tigers, Prey does get out ahead. He has the wild growth, he's got the speed. If you're KT, do you just hit him with an arrow when
Yes.
he comes up? Even if he's got the shields, you can jump on him and probably burst him down.
The stun lock is insane.
Yeah.
Even for a Juggernaut, it's going to be difficult before a Crucible or a QSS comes down for Prey to really play the front line.
If this had been a standard draft game, obviously we wouldn't have Mirror Lulu matchups, but we probably would have seen Summoner Spell Cleanse, just because the cleanse effect of actually taking reduced CC after the fact would have been relevant when the stun lock is just this insane from KT. And remember, Prey opted into taking cleanse previously in a Kalista lane, so he is one of those players that will give up the laning power that heal grants for a Summoner Spell Cleanse.
You think Gorilla's going to have to go for a pretty fast cleanse himself here for Prey. They're going to need it.
Mikael's be important, QSS, but
Yeah.
fitting in QSS when you're in a Juggernaut comp, when you're so relied on for damage, it's actually sometimes quite awkward to fit in, maybe after Blade the Ruined King, but that's still 8,000 gold into a build.
That's why I'm wondering if we're going to see Gorilla Rush that instead. Because, yeah, they really do need Prey to do the damage. Haha! The hidden Lulu is the deadliest. Wow, nice lead onto Someday from Smeb.
The Yordle combat is real.
That's true.
Not going to yell it.
Well, no. Not this time.
Gotta save that one for later.
We'll see if there really is an all-in, and then I can use it. There we go. There's a couple occasions, you know, Yordle combat, Supportal combat. It's true. If one of them had Ignite, I'd be much happier, but no, of course, you need that teleport these days. Prey's alone up here.
It's interesting to see that because a couple of games in these series have hinged so dominantly on the early teleport ganks that with two Lulus, that's just not going to work.
So bizarre.
The Lulu ganks are not going to be a major factor. Hello, Prey.
Peekaboo coming around from behind, teleport coming in. Yeah, they need to do it. They saw the Leona coming. A little bit too dangerous.
Nice assertive teleport.
Here comes KOO.
He's going to have to flash.
Peekaboo in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, he has to flash to get out of that one.
Wow, they draw two summoners, the flash and the defensive, the offensive teleport. So it's a pretty big win for the KOO Tigers.
Well, I mean, they traded teleports, I suppose, but that flash on Peekaboo hurts a lot.
And now Leona, positioning in a lane without flashes, Leona is super awkward, so
Yeah.
it's going to be tough for Peekaboo to make much of an impact in the next 5 minutes.
Well, regardless, a nice little CS lead developed for Arrow in that lane. And
Interesting build divergences here. Looks like it's going to be Athene's Unholy Grail for Smeb, whereas it will be a Rod of Ages for Someday. Now, what do you prefer? What do you think is better in this situation?
I mean, Someday was actually the one who was watching Smeb play the Lulu in Game 1, and it was Smeb that went the Rod of Ages. It was surprising to see him modify his build in this direction. I feel like the wave clear is going to be, it's just immense from KOO. The pressure they can apply with effectively infinite mana and short cooldowns on both Victor and Lulu. I think you have to go for the Athenes if you're the Juggernaut comp, just because wave clear is such a premium when you're effectively always defensive minded.
You want those shields too. It's a fight over the blue buff as well. Are they going to be able to do it? Whoa, Hojin going in on the score here. Gorilla is there. Prey is there as well. They don't get the knockup. And wow, Hojin's going to get engaged on by Peekaboo. Arrow coming down. Hojin's going to get taken out. First blood going over to Nagne. Peekaboo low too. Gorilla, oh, almost taken out. There's the repel. And score is all over them. 2 more kills for KT. That's a 3-0 in that fight. And KOO just doesn't get there in time. They use the vision. They can just dive this, can't they?
Well, they're going to poke him out first. They're going to try for it, but Gravity Field makes that a very unattractive prospect.
Arrow is so lucky he didn't have turret aggro. Otherwise, he would be dead.
So they try and make that work, but KOO plays defensively. But 3 kills, and you just can't walk through those chokes against Azir. That was a massive problem. But Nagne did a good job, ulted at the right time, managed to isolate Prey, and Arrow had such a great flash, knew when to go aggressive in that fight.
I mean, it was a bit of a brain explosion from KOO in general, because remember, Hojin was the one who went in aggressively, opting into a fight. They knew Arrow was already level 6. The stun lock was real, so it was always going to go only one way, and 3-0 is a big advantage early for KT.
It certainly does help.
Kills onto Nagne and Arrow, too. That is a little bit rough.
Meanwhile, in the Lulu versus Lulu lane, not much has changed. Slight lead for Smeb in CS. No kills or assists yet, though. Both will have their teleports soon.
WTF Tulu?
Tulu. That's true. That's Trulu.
All right, well.
No, this never should have happened. You know, I thought we would actually have a chance to be able to say WTF 2 Shens, but no. They pick Lulu. After Shen's been banned every game tonight, dual Lulu.
Of all the matchups, a Lulu top mirror is... Remember, this is the 2 best carry top laners in the league.
It's
an
the
elimination match playing top Lulu mirror.
Could have been double ribbon, but
it's
no.
It's a high-level troll coming out from these teams, I think.
It really is. It really is.
I think you just want the reliable wave clear. I think that's why the pick is there. So you make sure that there's no possibility that you're going to get brutally counterpicked. Lulu just incredibly stable for top lane players or for mid lane players, very low risk champion.
You and your logic.
Hey, I don't like it, but
you tolerate it strategically.
You're chained to logic and facts and things like that. You're like, I must. You're like George Washington. You can't tell a lie or something.
I can't tell in a logic.
I can't be illogical. All right, Mr. Spock.
Well, looks like equilibrium's been restored somewhat. There's the arrow.
Nice arrow onto Prey. That's going to go right into his Zenith Blade, and he has got no solar flare. He's not 6 just yet, but Prey is going to go down anyway as Score comes in to clean that one up. That is exactly what KOO needs to be afraid of.
What do you do? Prey has no summoner spells. You have that long-range Ash Arrow engaged. That is the deadly part of the Ash Leona Elise combo.
Yeah.
And Gorilla missed his knockup on the Zenith Blade too, so I don't think it would have mattered. He was dead anyway, but...
Yep. Arrows are pretty deadly.
Yeah, Janna has 2 interrupts. Both the Monsoon and the Q will both interrupt the Zenith Blade, but didn't hit that skill shot. And definitely cemented the kill over to KT Rolster. I
mean, worst case scenario, Peekaboo still had Flash, he still had Ignite, so
yeah.
But they could have made him work a little bit harder for it.
Well, meanwhile, in the Lulu versus Lulu lane, the CS is dead even and no kills, no assists.
Summoners are all up as well.
Yeah, they had their teleports. Not really a place to teleport, I suppose, in that last fight, though, for Smeb or Someday. I think they knew Prey was dead from the beginning anyway.
Rod of Ages to be fully charged at 21 minutes for Someday. You have to go for the cooldown reduction and mana regen just because it's a Juggernaut comp, just because they want to keep the game as even as possible till Prey specifically hits an item like Infinity Edge, which we expect to be his 3rd or 4th item depending on which build rate he goes. So don't really have the flexibility to go into a more carry-orientated build with the Rod of Ages.
Well, the nice thing for Prey is even though KOO is behind right now, that damage late game is going to be terrifying, and having that Infinity Edge against a really not any tank composition besides Leona from KT will mean without a lot of armor that he not really going to need a Last Whisper this game. And we saw what KOO could do earlier in this series. Against squishy compositions, KOO really knows how to burst people on Victor.
Wow, and Arrow's just going to take this bottom turret. No threat really on him.
Well, he built for tower taking. He got the Berserker's Greaves ahead of finishing the Infinity Edge. The entire purpose of this is to get that auto attack speed because Prey cannot walk.
Whoa, supportal combat! Oh, but it's an ult. All right, never mind. It was a good timing. And KT goes for their first dragon. They should be able to take that easily.
Doing so well on that trade means there's no threat whatsoever of KOO trying to contest this dragon. Yep. Setting timers against a Juggernaut is what you want to do. Establish a win condition early and ensure that the game is effectively over before an item like Infinity Edge comes into the pocket of Prey.
I really like what we saw KT do there. Just move down to the bottom side.
Whoa!
Nice dodge with the Q.
Dodge that point-blank arrow.
But get the Berserker Greaves now because there's no way that Prey can walk up to you. He has to be constantly afraid of a tower dive from this combo. So basically, you know you're going to get free auto attacks on the turret. Maximize your turret damage with the Berserker's Greaves instead of getting something like a pickaxe or trying to finish that Infinity Edge early, and just get the gold for the rest of your team. Get the pressure on the map.
Yeah.
Because it's really a catch-22 for Prey. If he walks up, he gets dove. If he lets his turret die, well, now he has to farm super dangerously pushed forward. It's just a terrible situation.
Letting a turret dive is never an attractive thing to do just because you know that eventually will lead to the deep wards. That eventually will mean that even picking up the raptors and golems will be that much more difficult. So finding safe farm to get to late game, that's the big counterplay.
Oh, Nagne got that red buff.
Very nice still. That's the big counterplay. It's just denying resources to Prey wherever possible.
And that was great. Greedy. Hojin had his smite, and he really just wanted to hand it off to Prey.
For gold, really.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice at least to give him a bit more survivability, too. He is getting chased around.
Definitely. Well, KT already about 4K gold ahead here, and we've seen KOO make some amazing comebacks in this series, but keep in mind, they haven't won any of those comebacks. They've only been able to make it close. And I think it's going to be more difficult than either of those other two games in this one.
Still the burst. The damage late game gives hope, right?
Yeah, they got some, yeah.
KOO is the one who isn't behind. He stayed relatively even in CS. He's held on to his turret against this Azir in a tough matchup. And now he's going to be able to get at least some items. And even a Victor with some items, if he can find the right target in a fight, will be able to destroy the members of KT.
Prey's only just hit level 9, so he's about a level and a half behind Ash, who's been level 10 for a little while now. So how can KOO rotate their members to give Prey safe farm without effectively donating all of their jungle over to KT? You can already see the red side.
Here we go.
No, Prey does not get hit by that arrow, I believe.
They saw it with wards coming out, so he had plenty of warning.
Play around the Kog'Maw. That's what KT want to do, to delay this power spike as late as possible.
Push the wave into the turret, make sure he can miss some of that CS, and KOO really has been doing perfectly fine this game, though, while everything has been falling around him. And fortunately
Here we go, let's do it. Oh.
Fortunately for KOO, they do have a Lulu top, so they can give some of the Lulu farm over to the Kog'Maw without it being too devastating.
These Lulus have managed to successfully navigate themselves away from every bit of action on the map.
Yeah, they really have done nothing this entire game.
Oh, man. It's like a 4v4 when there's like this other 1v1 game kind of happening as well.
I really hope these Lulus just never actually
know,
find
right?
themselves in a team fight. And it's just this the entire game.
Could be.
Reminiscent of when Najin was winning a game with Duke on Maokai, 0-0-0 at 35 minutes into the game.
He actually was doing stuff, though. He was applying pressure.
I mean, Lulu clears waves. That's sort of applying pressure, right?
Well, this is like two equally powerful forces just pushing against each other. Like neither one is really going anywhere. Look at that. They're basically still dead even in CS. Yep. 155 to 156.
It's going to be Similar items, but definitely more of a carry build on Someday. Just that much more burst. Not really a relevant thing, but
oh man, I really disagree with this buy from KOO. Yeah, the CC is scary from KT, but you were the one who actually had money on your team.
You need to do
and
damage.
you just spent it on a QSS.
So the reason why he's done this is that if he's ever dived and this outer turret goes down, the game's kind of already in emergency stages for KOO Tigers. If they lose mid lane pressure as well, there's just never going to be safe farm. They're going to lose both their red and blue buffs, and the game will just end. So this is just a way to dissuade the obvious turret dive from the likes of Elise and Leona. And look, it's a very expensive cost. It's 1250 gold, but if it gets them an outer turret in the mid lane for another 5 minutes, maybe it's worth it.
I'm unconvinced, Papa Smithy. I think that you go for the damage here and try and just explode somebody.
This is saying, let's never fight. Please, God, let's never fight.
Yes.
Well, speaking of fighting and farming, Prey's been able to avoid both of those things and, well, avoid the fighting anyway. He's gotten a little bit more farm. He's avoided some farm too, but at least he's catching up in CS a little bit now.
I wonder if the Ashe is something that KT really wanted to hang on to for the finals. Remember that they're coming in as a favorite, and we hadn't seen them play Ashe. We've seen several other teams play it. But was this something that KT was hoping to have hidden? When we move into the final match, they've had to show it. It has been very useful. Arrow's been great on the champion so far.
I mean, the answer has to be yes, right? The fact that they're willing to opt into it in the 5th game blind pick shows us this is a pick they've certainly been considering a lot and just been holding back as much as possible, but can't hold back any further than a 5th game blind pick for all the marbles.
Peekaboo running in with those mobility boots, wants to try to get some sort of pick, but can't do it. Praying Gorilla, run away fast enough. Dragon is up now.
Look at the item lead on score in particular. He has an extra Aegis over Hojin.
It's pretty big. They should be able to get this Dragon fairly easily unless Smeb steals it with Glitter Lance. Which is possible. I don't think it's going to happen, no. I've done that.
And if Doa can do it,
that's
why
right.
can't Smeb?
Yeah, Smeb, come on. I've stolen Dragon with Glitter Lance before. What's wrong?
I mean, the moment they opted into a QSS on their mid laner, they were never going to be fighting for Dragons pre about 4th Dragon, so expected result for KD Rolster, as Prey just desperately hopes no one else on the same side of the map.
Well, they've gotten some nice wards down for him at least, so he's he's actually been catching up in farm. Take a look at it. Finally has his Trinity Force as late as it is.
Yeah.
But even if he's matching farm, remember Arrow has had that Avarice Blade for a long time, so is banking in a superior fashion. And look, Kog'Maw will do more damage. Kog'Maw is more empowered by the team comp he has, but
oh boy, this Lulu may not be able to avoid combat for much longer. Someday has gotten a little CS lead, but he's going to be forced back, and Smeb's getting plenty of time to farm by himself in bottom lane too.
palpable excitement about the Lulu coming from you, Doa.
When the Lulu enters the battle, you know things are about to get real.
Score's been standing in that shadow for a while, but finally figures out that's not the place to be. But he was waiting for Peekaboo just to make sure they got some free time to clear some wards on that side of the map. They have to dissuade Prey from feeling safe as he pushes forward to the tier 1.
A fight over the red buff. KT's been able to keep, or blue buff rather, KT's been able to keep some buffs away from KOO, and it looks like they will get this one as well too. Score smites it away.
Yeah. No funny business there. Not like Hojin earlier, who didn't actually smite and accidentally gave the red buff over to Nagne this time, taking all the precautions, take it away. You have your blue buff up. There's literally no way that KOO can invade to try and contest that whatsoever unless they all want to die.
I don't think they do.
You don't know that.
I would wager.
I imagine that some of the KOO players might be feeling like they want to end this game a little bit sooner after this immense deficit they have accrued early.
Doesn't mean they want to die, though. They want the other team to die. That's how League of Legends works, Montecrist. So you kill the other team, and then you win the game. That's about all there is to it.
I
Pretty
guess
sure.
There's just such a long shot that KOO is going to be able to come back in this one.
I mean, KOO's showing their hand in such a simple way by the fact that they have Kog'Maw farming in the bot lane with no teleport against Someday here. So this should be the go button for Baron. They have excellent Baron damage. It's a big strategic hole that's very obvious and easy to take advantage of if you're the KT Rolls.
Well, you can fight this too. Double QSS coming out of KOO.
Oh, Dragon misses. Teleport coming in. They're going to try to flank the KOO Tigers. Smeb on the run.
Okay,
Teleport
4v4.
canceled, actually. Yeah, Baron gets taken by KT, zoning Solar Flare. And KOO's just going to back away.
And this is not an unexpected thing for KOO Tigers. Specifically, remember.
Look out. Oh boy, Prey, wow, gets very low. Has to burn his QSS to avoid that slow.
Wow, he actually bought QSS before his second damage item. The one thing you can say for the KOO Tigers, they understand the spot they're in. That's why we saw 2 early QSSs. The big thing for this team is they have excellent wave clear, but will it be enough to stop the Baron buff minions? That's the question. We don't know the answer.
Teleport, they're going to try to catch Someday, and these Lulus are entering. Yordle comment now. There's the first wild growth. Where's the second one? Someday getting low. There's his wild growth. Can they catch him? Flash. There's the knockup from the whirlwind.
Lulu.
Goodbye, Lulu. Lulu is killed, partially by Lulu. Oh. It was
That
the
must
best
have
of
felt
Lulus.
good.
It was the worst of Lulus.
Well, they got 1 kill. They tried to use the TP advantage that they had, but in the meantime, Arrow just pressing forward onto a tier 2 turret. He's going to get some damage, but he can always just go mid right afterwards. Rek'Sai coming on down.
Oh,
Nice
flash. Slow. Wow, this Lulu's getting bloodthirsty now. Coming in, Hojin looking for the knockup. Can't quite get to Arrow in time, and those minions are doing a decent amount of damage.
Azir
back
rotated,
off.
didn't try and take this out of mid lane turret. Okay, didn't have a wave to do it easily, but KT really need to push down turrets with this Baron buff that they invested so much into.
It's a nice flash by Smeb. He flashed the volley.
Yeah. Well, Prey is here to defend his turret, but it's going to take him a little while to burn through all these Baron
He
minions.
doesn't have any damage, so it'll take a very long while.
That's right. Oh,
Hello.
Arrow comes in. Whoa, Kuro cleanse flash gets out of that one. Close call, but they're still not going to be able to save their turret.
Nope. Lulu shield coming on through. Don't even need that minion wave.
Yep. Oh, Kuro recalls.
This could be another turret.
Could be. They're going to go after Score, though. Smeb and Prey trying to make a play here. Repel. Flash after repelling onto Smeb. Nice little move there from Score. Whoa, they managed to take out Hojin as well. There goes a tier 2. KT just totally running away with this game. 10,000 gold ahead at 24 minutes, guys. I think this one is pretty much over. Oh, Peekaboo gets a lot of damage done to him, but they get the inhibitor turret going back in. Peekaboo goes deep. Smeb low. Has to ult himself. Can they get a kill? He gets out of the fight. Nagne getting chunked down by that Chaos Storm from Kuro.
Kuro and Prey both doing free damage, but 1250 gold each spent on the QSS is the difference between these low flashing health bars from KT and a couple of kills for the KOO Tigers.
Someday not even using his wild growth there. They sort of filed in one by one from KT. It didn't end up making a big difference just because of how far in the lead they are. Third Dragon will go over to KT quite shortly. They have all the vision prepared already.
Yep, looking very, very good for KT. And I mean, really, summer is the KT season. We've seen them make it to every final since 2013. Obviously, they didn't make the very first one. But there's the third Dragon. It looks like they're certainly on track to make this one.
KT has made every finals in which KT has existed in League of Legends in the summer season. So 2013 Bullets, 2014 Arrows, and now it is looking almost certainly like KT will get their third consecutive summer final. And guess what? All of those finals have been awesome too.
Oh, yeah.
Fifth games in both of those matchups.
Some of the most exciting moments we've ever seen in Korean League of Legends. And we've seen some pretty exciting ones today, but this game looks like it's going to be a bit more one-sided than games 1 through 4.
Well, it's not just Korean League of Legends, Doa. I think we can pretty definitively say that both of those finals are top 5 in the history of League of Legends, if not 1 and 2.
Absolutely.
I mean, summer finals in general. I mean, you look back to 2012, and it was the famous Azubu versus CLG EU final, Frost versus CLG EU, that was another 5-game series. So if that's the only thing we can bank on, and it's going to go to 5 games, we have a very exciting final there for us next week.
I think so. And what a season for KT as well.
What a second half of the season. What an addition of a player like Peekaboo.
Well, that's really it, right? I mean, looking, good but mediocre. Arrow comes through. It hits Gorilla. There's a solar flare. They jump onto him. Easy kill for KT Nagne. Hojin goes down as well, and they take the Tier 2. KT have just taken one more large step towards the grand finals. Not much left. The death timer's still fairly low. Wow, Kuro poked out hard by those Sand Soldiers.
Feels like it feels like the KOO Tigers put up the white flag early with these QSS purchases. I didn't mind the one on Kuro given his unique situation. Prey opting into as well just means woeful damage. It's a 2-threat comp that aren't even threats, so they literally have no control over whether this game ends in the next few minutes or goes another 10 minutes. All on KT to make things happen.
Baron in a minute 30 now. Oh, Nagne. Recall prevented by Prey, for a moment anyway.
Well, what can you say? An incredibly clean game from KT after they snowballed off of a huge advantage in the top side. Arrow now with the Bloodthirster. He just needs to prevent some of that poke damage from Kuro and Prey. Neither of these teams has a very viable tank threat, and Hojin is caught building an extremely late Aegis right now, so the appearance of armor not really a factor. Might as well just go for the BT.
Gold lead among the junglers is just disgusting. We talked about the Aegis being a snowball purchase. It was Aegis against Sightstone. Now it's 2 parts of an Aegis compared to Locket, Frozen Heart, and Sightstone. Boots 2 for both the players. The score is a monster compared to Hojin.
Well, he made it work, of course. If KOO had gone to the late game with this composition, they would have had that advantage. KT had to go in early. They had to take advantage of that crowd control trio of Elise, Leona, and Ashe, but they executed, and now what they're able to do with that is just continuously dive.
It's nearly a perfect game for KT at this point as well. Only 1 kill on the side of the KOO Tigers. No turrets, no dragons, no barons. Pretty impressive stuff.
And in spite of KT, or KOO rather, being in this situation.
Oh, Peekaboo goes in. A little bit of action in the mid lane. Solar Flare dropped, but they're not able to follow that up.
You know, one of the questions we had coming in, would KOO tilt? And I think the answer is no. They're not. They're actually making reasonable decisions. Their actions appear calculated based on what's happening in the game, instead of just blindly ganking the top lane or making very questionable calls. It seems like they've done all they can in a rough spot.
Yeah.
My question is, to Nofe, why the Juggernaut in this particular situation?
KT going for a Baron here. They may have to turn around on this one. KOO still has a bit of a threat. They're going to stop it. They have to fight here. KT backing off. Score has taken some damage.
I was trying to get the bottom inhibitor turret right now.
Yeah, and they'll try it. Oh, flashes arrow. Shoots his arrow through the team. And wow, here we go. True supportal combat. Wild Growth going in for Smeb. Someday's not going to stop. This is it. Oh, or not. Okay, they're going for the Baron. Man, can't I just have the Lulu one-on-one? Victor coming in. He wants to make a play onto Someday. Someday just running for his life, though, as the Baron taken easily for KT. They're going to get it, and they're going to find Prey. Prey flashes the Emperor's Divide. Gorilla's going to die, though, and KOO on the run. Smeb teleports in. He's going to have to immediately make a break back for the base. And KT with that Baron buff, can they close it out here?
Well, they have a naked inhibitor now thanks to the effort of Someday. They juggled KOO very nicely around the Baron so that they could take both objectives, just pushing them back and forth between the Baron and the bottom side of the map, and Kuro even committing down there right as Someday was whimsying himself away.
Sometimes wonder what a gold lead buys you, and you just look at between these members, everyone is at least a major item ahead of their lane opponent. It's just massive disadvantages. Look, the jungle, for example, 3,600 gold is the lead for score.
It's pretty huge.
Well, just pushing in the lanes right now. Should be a pretty textbook finish here for KT Rolster in the end. They have that inhibitor respawning in the mid lane, but without any kind of protection. And it's just so dangerous for KOO to walk forward. Even Gorilla has a QSS now.
I mean, they're counting on being able to ditch all that CC that KT is going to put onto them. And if they can do that, maybe they can win a team fight, but it's looking so unlikely. And KT playing this very methodically as well, too. You don't play around with a game like this. KT coming in now, pushing slowly towards that inhibitor. They've got the mid lane vulnerable as well. Solar Flare doesn't quite hit KOO. Gets the shield from Lulu. Peekaboo getting very low, actually. They need to be careful here. Knock up onto Arrow. No follow-up, though. Death Ray attempted by KOO. He's gaining some health back. Arrow comes through. It connects with Prey. Prey QSS's, of course, but that lets KT get some damage onto the inhibitor. They need to be careful, though. It's all on KOO. KOO needs to be the one who does damage. There goes the inhibitor, though. With this Baron-powered push from KT, it just doesn't look like the KOO Tigers can do anything about this.
No, and they're all low on mana now. Most of that poke has been used up, so KT shouldn't have a problem.
And they have to go in now. Prey gets caught. Gorilla keeps him alive for the heal. Gorilla goes down, but KT goes in. This is the fight. They get Prey. A double for Nagne. And Wild Growth on to Nagne, I believe, will help him stay alive, stay safe. And KT, they are pushing towards the Nexus now. Score is low. KOO trying to be the hero. Could have taken out Score, but the repel came in. And KOO holding on by the thinnest of threads. Solar Flare goes down, they slow KOO. KOO taken out by Arrow, and that is it. It is over, and KT is going to the grand finals of Champion Summer. Nagne goes in with a celebratory Emperor's Divide, and we are in for yet another telecom war. GG.
And just like that, too, KT keeps their hopes for Worlds alive. They make the finals. They win one more best of 5, and they are taking a trip to Europe alongside SKT. KOO has to sit and wait for the moment.
Still so much riding on that final, like you mentioned. The ultimate goal is always Worlds and KT. As you said, one best of 5 away from that dream.
Yeah, and keep in mind, if SKT wins the finals against KT, then KOO will go to Worlds automatically by virtue of points. But if KT wins against SK Telecom, they're going to Worlds. Yeah, I need some water too, man. It's good to stay hydrated. That was an incredible match, but in the end, KT just has barely enough.
I really enjoyed that best of 5, and there's Arrow shooting his arrows right at you.
Can we say it? Dat Ash.
Dat Ash, indeed.
Ash.
Yeah. That was pretty sick. And KOO Tigers, it's tough to lose that one. It's tough to miss out on the chance to go to the finals, but they're still positioned so well to go to Worlds.
And that's it, right? If you're KOO, sure, it sucks to lose this one. You want to be in the finals. You wanted to sew it up right now, but I think realistically, they just got done beating Najin and CJ. They're major competitive for Worlds, even if they have to go through the gauntlet. And with their current play,